The big tragedy of this video is that I already used a Lord of the Rings joke in a previous opening. Hey there kids, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Uncle Frank, hoping that you are having a great day. And in today's video, we're going to be sitting back, relaxing, and taking a peek into the fog of the past as we look at dead card games from yesteryear. This is a bit of a special episode because we are taking a look at a very, very special card game. This bad boy right here, the Middle Earth collectible card game. This isn't the base set, this is the second set, first expansion, the dragons, whatever, you know what I'm talking about. This, if the name didn't give it away, was the first Lord of the Rings card game. And let me tell you, it has quite the story behind it, because this was by a company, Iron Crown Enterprise, and this is a really fun story to tell. You see, it all starts with a guy named Pete Finland. And Petey boy, Pete was a huge fan of both Lord of the Rings and Dungeons and Dragons. And in the 1970s, when D&D was getting its bearings, so to speak, on the pop culture landscape back then, Pete had been he'd been an avid player of D&D. In fact, he was in a several years long D&D campaign based on J.R.R. Tolkien's Middle Earth. He was, from what I can tell, very into it, because, I mean, you have to be into it to stick in a campaign for several years. Well, he was also business-minded, because in 1980, if I recall correctly, Pete went ahead and was one of the founders of Iron Crown Enterprises, a gaming company. And in the beginning, they were mostly focused on just producing gaming supplements that they would enjoy. There was an alternate rule set, I think Rule Master, I don't remember which one it is, which is basically just an alternative rule set for tabletop RPGs at the time. I think it used 2D10s. It's been a while since I've thought about it, so I'm probably wrong, but I think it was a 2D10 based system rather than a D20 based system. But that's not the point. The point about this is not to talk about the D&D aspect of this, because Pete was a huge fan, as I said previously, of Lord of the Rings and the other Tolkien works. And in 1982, they started publishing Lord of the Rings content for tabletop games. And they got away with that because they just asked the Tolkien estate for the license to do so. And the Tolkien estate, apparently, from what I could find online and reading articles and stuff, apparently the Tolkien estate just went, yeah, why not? You guys are the first guys to ask, so have at it. Could you imagine, being such a huge fan of something that you start your own company and you just ask the guys who are in charge of the IP if you can make your own products for it, and they just say yeah? You'd be over the sky. I bet back in 1982, Pete was on top of the world. I bet he was the happiest guy. Anywho, fast forward a few years to 1995, I think it was, and the RPG craze has started to die down. Dungeons and Dragons is on the news less and less. It's less of a satanic panic kind of thing, and the new hot thing is card games, trading card games, started by Wizards of the Coast, Magic the Gathering, and a bunch has started to pop up on the market. Well, of course, having the exclusive license for Lord of the Rings and other Tolkien works, Iron Crown Enterprise decides, hey, let's throw our hat into the arena and make our own card game based on the license we have access to. And so they created the Middle Earth collectible card game. And this is crazy. This is one of the most complicated card games I've looked through the rules for. And keep in mind, when I talk about this card game, it's not exactly a popular one in my area. Not a lot of people have heard about it. So I've only ever gotten away with less than 20 games total, but setup is a bit complicated. The core rules were a bit complicated, and I have to tell you, it's very obvious to me playing this game that the company behind it was very much into role-playing games, because it feels like this was designed as a card game role-playing game. Like games like Flesh and Blood and Mega Man, etc., you don't take the role of just a player. You have an avatar that you represent. You are a wizard in the world of Middle Earth, and your goal is to outdo the other wizards with your minions and try to get events on. You try to play events to, one-up them, and I'm not going to go over the rules because I don't really remember all of them that well. It's been a long time since I last played this, and I know I'll get something wrong if I try to go through all the rules again, which actually has happened twice. I picked this game up to play with some friends a while back, like 2 or 3 years ago, and I was trying my best to explain the rules to them, and then like halfway through the game, both of them looked at me and said, "You don't actually know the rules, do you?" And I was like, "Yeah, you got me. It's been a while." I'm never that great at remembering the actual rules until it's been a while. I love the concept, but I'm never great at remembering it. But yeah, you take the role of one of the wizards, or in later expansions, one of the Nazgul, or a fallen wizard, I think, is also one of the roles you can take. And you just play in the world of Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, The Silmarillion, Tolkien's world, a really standout fantasy experience. And this game is really fun because, let's go ahead and rip one of these bad boys open. It's got some really cool art. This is the pack, by the way. Tell me that that's not an absolute banger of a pack. That looks great, doesn't it? Just the logo with a dragon scale hide over the background. For the collectible card game based on J.R.R. Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. I guess they just didn't want to include the Silmarillion there. Oh, and this is a game for up to 5 players. It's not just 1v1. You can have up to 5 players in one. They designed that from the start because there's 5 wizards. So let's just rip this bad boy open. I want to show you guys some of these cards because I don't know where the decks went. I have some loose decks for this. I just don't know where they're at. Things get lost easily here. Put that over there. First, there's the card back. It's just the Eye of Sauron. Isn't that awesome? Really great. Just really easy, standout, iconic fantasy card back. It's not immediately apparent that it is Lord of the Rings you're seeing here. But if you're familiar enough with Lord of the Rings, I mean, the Eye of Sauron, the dwarven runes around the card border, it might give it away to you. It might not, but, these are some... This is a real card insert. These are some absolutely beautiful cards. I love looking through them. I did not pull anyone done by an artist I recognize, I don't think. Oh, Kevin Ward, Angus McBride. I should probably actually show you guys the cards, shouldn't I? I'll pull that up and I'll edit the video to actually show you guys the cards. How about that? But these cards have some really beautiful fantasy art. It is kind of outstanding to me that another card game existed in the same era of Magic the Gathering in its earliest eras, and it had original, unique fantasy art, but for a setting, an existing IP. You're seeing the world of Middle Earth in card form with some genuinely nice art. And I recall there were some high-end artists that were even brought on for the card game back in the day. But, as you might have surmised, I could say nice things about the card game until the cows come home. But obviously it is an out-of-print card game, It did not last. Why is that? Well, was the card game bad, you might ask? No. In fact, from what I can understand, online there is a pretty solid fan base of people who still play it even to this day. And found a website. There are people who apparently keep an updated rulings list even. That's fun. Did the company go under? No. Best as I can tell, ICE is still around. I think they're still around. So what happened? What happened is that they lost the license. That's right, ICE lost the exclusive rights to Lord of the Rings in 1999 or the year 2000. And those rights were picked up by our good friends at Decipher. That's right, that company peeks its head over the horizon yet again. And they went on to create the second Lord of the Rings card game. I think they just called it the Lord of the Rings trading card game. And I didn't like that one nearly as much. It is obvious to me that Decipher was only making it just to kind of cash in on the movies at the time, which is a shame. I do think the Middle Earth collectible card game is a very good and very enjoyable experience with some good art, strong foundation rules, if they are a bit complicated. I'm going to be honest, the rules are very complex for a card game released at the time. It's not as beginner friendly, I should say. So get someone smart to help you if you're looking to play the game. I should hopefully find the decks at some point. Maybe actually go through some games again. So it's, it's good, got good art, has good solid rules. Just unfortunately, the company behind it lost the license, and now there is no Middle Earth card game out there. At least not that I'm aware of. I don't think there's a new Lord of the Rings card game anywhere. Or at least I hope there's not, because heaven forbid someone like Amazon is producing a card game for Lord of the Rings. It's a really fun game, though. I'm going to be honest. I wish games like this survived into the modern era more than some other games that have outlived their welcome, so to speak. And I'm going to be completely honest. If I had to grade it as a card game, I would probably give it like a solid 8 out of 10. Not the best, not the worst. It has that Lord of the Rings factor. You can collect favorite characters from the Lord of the Rings. It's a bit more faithful to the actual feel, world, and flavor of Lord of the Rings than a certain Magic the Gathering expansion, that's for sure. And unlike Magic the Gathering's Lord of the Rings set, the art actually feels like high fantasy art rather than what we had going on with that set. Still pretty sore about that. Can you guys tell? But that's really all I've got for you kids today. I just wanted to share this little thing. This was actually a viewer request. One of the guys over on the Discord channel said I should go ahead and show this on the channel. So here you guys are. The boxes for this, if you guys are interested in getting a hold of this yourself, last I checked, and it was a while ago. It's been a while since I last checked, but sealed product for this is not that expensive. In fact, it's so cheap that I can get some. I can get it's cheap enough for a poor guy to afford it. That's what I'll say. Oh, what a fun experience. What a fun game. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. If you my words are all over the place today. If you enjoyed the video, please like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Ciao. I just checked eBay. I lied. It's not actually that affordable anymore. Boxes are well over $100. So scratch that. I was wrong.